I have to go on record as saying that I seriously object to the proposed revision of the SCP-076 Special Containment Procedures file. I know that redact all important stuff already claims it's a security risk, but you and I both know that's just top brass trying to sweep their biggest and most embarrassing mistake ever under the damn rug. Omega 7 happened. It existed. Those people died because you screwed up, and you can't change that, no matter how hard you try to hide it. For God's sakes, man, those people guarding him deserve to know exactly what he is, what he did, and what we did, how we fucked up, so they'll know better.
Greetings, my name is Dr. Malik, and the SCP we'll be discussing today is SCP-076, Object Class Care. The Foundation has granted me better hardware and software, so hopefully this video will look a lot more clean and refined than the other in the introduction, but please take into account I am not an editor. I am simply a Foundation member. I know a lot about SCPs, not a lot about video editing, so please mind that. But with all of my rambling aside, let's skip the formalities and just go straight into the SCP detail, shall we? SCP-76 is to be kept 200 meters below sea level, with the only entrance being a vertical elevator shaft carved out of solid bedrock. Every 50 meters is separated by a reinforced blast door, and the entire shaft is to be flooded when not in use. A 150 killing corridor separates the elevator from the main containment area, with an electric deterrent system capable of delivering a 20,000 volt shock. The facility must be filled with security personnel trained in close-quarter combat. If 90 minutes passes during a full breach without a stand-down order from level 4 personnel or above, the final contingency measures will activate, flooding the entire facility for 24 hours and killing all on-site staff. SCP-76-1 is a black stone cube covered in carvings of no known civilization estimated to be about 10,000 years old. A door on the side contains 20 locks in a circle pattern, and since no keys have been found, it cannot be locked. The interior is consistently 93 Kelvin, cannot be altered. Inside is a stone coffin held into place and sealed shut with chains of an unknown model and make, but that's not why. We're not here to talk about the boring cube, we're here to talk about the good stuff. SCP-76-2. SCP-76-2 is a lean Semitic human male in his late 20s. He's got black hair, gray eyes, olive skin. He's covered in numerous tattoos of arcane and occult iconography. While he's encased in 76-1, he's technically dead, but occasionally reanimates with all vital signs, in which he enters a trance state and seeks out the nearest person. He then enters a rage state and attempts to kill every single person around him. Yeah, he's quite violent. SCP-76-2 has shown to have superhuman strength and speed, and a remarkable ability to ignore pain and shock. A few examples of these are taking multiple 50 cal BMG shots to the head without dying and continuing his rampage, swatting handgun and AR bullets out of the air with steel rebar, and surviving an hour without air before asphyxiating. But the coolest ability he has, the ability to materialize blades, and any kind of bladed weapon he wants, in a non-reflexive black material that just dematerializes just because he's not using them, and he just pulls them out of a mini pocket dimension. But the reason he's such a threat, because to this date, the most notorious containment breach that we've had in this Foundation's history, and the former previous site of SCP-76-2, they activated the on-site nuclear warhead to detonate everything. And he survived. Like, how fucking cool is that? Sorry, that was not very professional of me. I get a little fanboy when I talk about, powerful SCPs, so back to official seriousness. Upon his death, his remains will putrefy rapidly until reduced to dust. SCP-76 and the coffin will then shut and lock on its own. SCP-76-2 reforms in the coffin, taking anywhere between 6 hours to 25 years to fully reform. SCP-76 was found in Mongolia by archaeologists from England. It was later recovered by the Society, which eventually merged into our buddies at the Global Occult Coalition, but inevitably became active and escaped. It took about 3 years, but eventually the Foundation found and, retrieved the artifact. And the rest of the documents attached are regarding Project Able and Mobile Task Force Omega-7, which mainly contains voicemails and documents that I have so generously compiled and edited to the best of my ability. So I do hope you enjoy it, and don't judge me too harshly. Like I said, I keep repeating like a broken record, but I am not an editor, I'm a scientist, so please do not judge it too harshly. It's just purely informational. So enjoy.
SCP-076-2 either possesses a mind constructed much differently than our own, or is completely insane, with little empathy or ideas in a way we would understand it. Concepts such as sex, love, and equality are completely foreign ideas to SCP-076-2, or at least in comparison to its way of viewing them. Subject has shown that it is completely disinterested in sex, barely differentiating between genders except as a form of visual identification. Also, while Subject has admittedly greatly enjoyed the act of killing, causing pain, either emotionally or physically, holds no attraction to it. In short, a perfect sociopath. Intelligence tests have been wildly inconclusive when applied to SCP-076-2, and no accurate result has yet been obtained. This might be due to the alien thought process of the subject. SCP-076-2 has, however, shown that it has great knowledge of human anatomy, although in a highly violent context, military tactics of open warfare, metallurgy, and strangely enough, the care of livestock. Subject has knowledge of several languages including English, but most notable is its knowledge of several dialects of ancient Sumerian, which seems to be its preferred language. SCP-76 has nothing but contempt for human beings, with one exception. It seems to hold a wary respect for those it acknowledges as its superior. This was discovered when an agent who had previously had a large amount of experience with SCP-76-2 did not appear once it escaped. Subject seemed distressed, asking several personnel where Agent was hiding. When it finally did learn the fate of Agent, killed as collateral damage in an airstrike intended to halt the advance of SCP-76-2 stopped its rampage and allowed itself to be escorted and restrained. Subject was then interviewed on the sudden drastic changes in its behavior.
Why are you so interested in the death of Agent? Why does his death bother you? You've killed many humans before. Why is he so
different? Because unlike you, Sakalak, he was a challenge, a real enemy.
Why would that be good for you? Every time you've awoken, you've tried to escape. He was responsible for apprehending you several times. Surely you must be glad he's dead.
I would hardly expect you to understand. Do you know, he managed to shoot me in the head over times. A man like that deserves to die in combat, so close to his opponent he could feel his breath. Not in some Kalyan destruction order by cowardly kings and princes safe in their palaces. The rest of you disgust me. I don't even have the urge to strike you down.
This indicates a possible psychological inlet into SCP-76-2's mind, and a possible control mechanism. Given the massive drain on resources SCP-76-2 causes due to its escape attempts, and considering Bo Commission's stated desire to weaponize SCP objects for the tactical purposes, I recommend that we pursue this course of action as soon as possible. Dr.
He said yes. For God's sakes, find these guys something to do. Abel's getting bored and he started putting his team through live fire exercises. They get bullets, he gets training weapons. Have you ever seen someone break a man's jaw using a Nerf sword? He's not gonna stop until someone gets killed.
In light of SCP-76-2's proficient use of the Sumerian language, researchers have asked it to translate several documents. While it originally replied with disinterest, it has translated some of the documents it found worthy of its attention. Most of the documents chosen by SCP-76-2 were regarding battles of legendary heroes, most of its favorites in particular being the Epic of Gilgamesh. However, one researcher presented it with the symbol from SCP-73. Upon sight of this, SCP-76-2 became highly enraged, killing several of the researchers before its kill switch could be activated. When revived and questioned about this, SCP-76-2 responded aggressively, and that line of questioning was immediately dropped. It is recommended anything pertaining to SCP-73 never be brought to the attention of SCP-76-2, and that the two are never to be in the same facility.
For God's sakes, don't do it. It's bad enough they're trying to weaponize Iris too. Don't let the military bully us into doing their dirty work against some sand farmers and...
Excellent work, Doctor. The mission went exactly as expected. We'll be giving you a call again if we need your help. General Bo.
Because you're a bigger asshole than this guy.
As of this moment, Dr. has been reassigned to SCP-682 as Level 1 personnel. Despite our best efforts, Subject Abel is proving difficult to control. All our attempts to keep him engaged have been more or less unsuccessful. The problem is, he's the perfect killing machine, and that's all he wants to do. Which seems like exactly what he wanted, but the problem is, we can't seem to turn him off. I'm running out of missions to give him, and the ones I've got left aren't engaging him mentally. He started to lash out at the other team members. It's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. Requesting permission to discontinue the project and neutralize Abel temporarily until we can find something more for him to do.
Unacceptable. Neutralizing Subject Abel at this point is going to cause us an unacceptable delay. We'll have another mission for you within a couple of weeks. All you have to do is keep him busy until then. Send him on vacation or something.
SCP-76-2 either possesses a mind constructed much differently than our own, or is completely insane, with little empathy or ideas in a way we would understand it. Concepts such as sex, love, and equality are completely foreign ideas to SCP-76-2, or at least in comparison to its way of viewing them. Subject has shown that it is completely disinterested in sex, barely differentiating between genders except as a form of visual identification. Also, while the subject seems to greatly enjoy the act of killing, causing pain, either emotionally or physically, holds no attraction to it. Intelligence tests have been wildly inconclusive when applied to SCP-76-2, and no accurate result has yet been obtained. This is due to the fact that no communication is possible with the subject when in its rage state. Subject displays knowledge of several languages including English, but most notable is its knowledge of several dialects of ancient Sumerian, which seems to be its preferred language. SCP-76 has nothing but contempt for human beings and will kill them on sight. No communication is to be attempted with the subject. That ends our briefing on SCP-76. If you have any questions, refer to the document stored in the archive. I'm Dr. Malik, signing out, ending transmission.